Lisa Thie, the Data for Good sector lead at Launch Consulting. This season, we're sticking a little closer to home, but thinking just as big, harnessing the power of data to create a better global community. This is Navigating Abroad. Margaret Wong knows that technology has the power to create true community. With a background in finance, Margaret is instrumental in helping both China and the US make the transition to cleaner energy. This week, we talk about the importance of collaboration in the fight for global social justice, what sustainability looks like across different cultures, and why food and wine are vital to diplomacy. Wonderful to see you here, Margaret, in beautiful Napa, California. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Margaret, when I think of bold entrepreneurs, you are one of the first people that comes to mind for me. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your story about founding a company and growing it to where it is today?
Well, I was born in Hong Kong and graduated from Hong Kong University, immigrant to United States way back, like 30, almost 40 years ago. And, when I first landed in America, I know nothing. I was really absorbing, trying to strive and work for a company in Chicago for 10 years and build myself up of learning, how to live in America, how to adapt. And it was like 36 years ago, I started to build my own businesses. My background is to be able to do business with China. So,
and you have a finance background as well, right? And you worked as a controller in Chicago?
Right. I graduated as a business and finance and accounting. So I was a controller, managing many different accounts, when I was in Chicago. I worked for a bank in Stockton, and so my background is finance, but I really wanted to do something that I could build. So I always liked to be an entrepreneur. So way back, when I was 35 years old, that I started and be an entrepreneur and then started my own company.
How did you identify the opportunity, how you wanted to make your first mark with that business? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, way back, I already see there's some opportunity of cross-border business between, US and China and Asia. So, it was a lot of outsourcing. I started with outsourcing electronic product from China and then bring it over to the United States. And that was a very, very beginning, the early stage. And it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of understanding, a lot of networking at that time. It made me feel like it takes months to do one thing, as opposed to today, it takes days to get something done. I still remember when we first get the fax machine. It was just like, we had a party just to celebrate having a fax machine to see a drawing being faxed in.
Oh, wow.
So the world is getting so much smaller than when we first started.
It's a testament to your vision of you were at the beginnings of bringing together places that seemed very far away. It sounds like at the time you started in more of a commodity type business, but that evolved over time, right? Do you mind sharing a little bit about the impacts that you've been able to make in terms of water and wastewater treatment and environmental engineering by building international teams that collaborate to get better outcomes?
Absolutely, because you're absolutely right. At the beginning, it was commodity product. And I think that it evolves into a lot of the technology basis. I was, like 25 years ago, I started with the environmental engineering company for wastewater treatment, industrial wastewater treatment. And at that time, there was a lot of technology being built up and export from the United States to China, and then evolves into, a lot of the high-tech, wastewater treatment. And we were able to be successfully launch a lot of projects, in China and for the treatment. And it's just unbelievable that how much that we could connect US and China and, even Korea and Japan technology and be able to provide a solution in China. And then my lighting company is also from a legacy product of mechanical product. And today's become, because of the LED, so it becomes semiconducting lighting, become networking lighting, IoT networking is huge. So we're talking about right now using lighting to connect, through Bluetooth, controls, sensors, and also be involved with energy efficiency, networking, security, data analytics, all through lighting as a hub to be able to, do all these things is all technology.
Amazing to go from having a party to getting your first facts to now driving the IoT innovation through lighting. Everybody has to have lighting. It's what makes societies rise up is electricity. And so having this ubiquitous commodity that's out there everywhere, being able to turn it into this hub of innovation for every major industry to be able to pull off.
I always say that no matter where you go, you have lighting. So now we're talking about renewable energy, solar, connecting with your lighting, with the DC system, with the semiconducting. It's just amazing.
It unlocks all the potential.
Exactly. So, from legacy product to what we have today, so I have evolved with a lot of the US, China, collaborating together, technology used in China and China, components bringing it over here. So we're really doing a lot of the collaboration, and a lot of our product are now made in the United States.
Yes.
So this is also a mission that I am building to see how much we could be able to be more sustainable and be able to have it made in America too.
Myself, I had the opportunity coming out of college to work for a multinational tech company. One of the things that I was able to do was collaborate with global teams as well. And one of the things I really loved from working with China early in my career was learning that a few key lessons. Number one, the human condition is to like to be respected, and everyone has different cultures and they bring different values to the table. Can you talk a little bit about Chinese culture and some of the things that you really think enhance a product when you get collaborative teams with different perspectives?
Well, you said it right on. I think that different countries have different culture, different system, and different way of analyzing, problems and addressing problem. Maybe because of the government structure, it could be because of human nature, because of the culture, all of that we have to respect. When you say, well, international trade, a lot of them is a psyche of how much you want to understand your buyers, your sellers.
Yes.
If you understand them, and then you can work the way out with, making sure that they have confidence in you. So I always tell my staff that do not sell what you got, sell what they want.
So you're really going from a product sale to more of a solution sale, and you're starting that customer mindset of where are they today,
right.
Where do they want to be, and how do you take them through that journey in a way that's culturally appropriate, that aligns with something that's sustainable, that once you've delivered that product, people can actually persist and be successful, and also honoring the culture of being mindful of what we're optimizing for.
Exactly.
In any project, you can optimize for price, you can optimize for time, or you can optimize for quality. It's that lovely triangle, right? And finding the right ratios that meet your buyer, where they're at.
Right. In America, we provide a lot of consulting services, like the human resources and knowledge and all that. In China, they don't like to be just focused on consulting. They like hardware. They like big, huge, something tangible. So this is why we always package it so that it feel like that the technology, the consulting is there, but also the equipment is there. So this is something that we learn that when you do providing a solution, then you could be able to kind of include everything instead of just segment it into different areas like what we're doing here.
Yep.
And also that they sometimes that they don't want to tell you what they don't know. They don't even know what they don't know. So you have to be able to work out with them so that even though that something that we know, that doesn't mean they know. So we have to be able to understand how they, analyze and the results and the deliverables and all of that. Costing is always an issue. So when we were working, these kind of projects, we want to be very mindful about the cost. Meaning that if U.S. is, the cost is heavy here, if we can procure in China, then we're going to buy part of the equipment in China, part of the equipment in U.S. so that we can combine it, make the cost effective. So we help China, or we kind of educate China a lot in what are the compliance you got to fulfill with the government to set the rule. If the governments don't set the rule, nobody would do the water treatment.
Right.
So this was kind of like a cycle that you got to be able to accept that these are the rules, and that China have to fulfill the rule, and then they will buy the right equipment. So this is like a whole turnkey, whole global, networking that we're doing on.
So you've really thrived in almost a diplomacy type of role, from your finance background and understanding how the money flows to creating diplomatic solutions where when waters rise, all boats float. Everybody in the international team wins when you have solutions like that. Can you share with us a little bit about some of the networks that you've made over time to make the trade relations between countries more effective?
Well, you said it right on. So I'm also very involved with the U.S.-China friendship, and community work. And I think through that, I was able to network with a lot of the government industries and, academic, to be able to kind of share a vision when we talk about climate change, when we talk about environmental issues, energy issues. You need to be able to tap onto all these resources to give you the support to do that. Not only with the China side, I was able to involve with some of the climate change, mission and energy efficiency mission, that kind of thing, to work with state of California. I travel with the Secretary of Commerce, Secretary Fisker to China, to be able to talk about how to collaborate businesses with, green technology.
Yes.
So not only I can do more networking, but also finding out what their needs are, what we can offer. So get a higher level of collaboration is something that we are ongoing, instead of just focusing on certain technology or certain industry, but we do kind of leverage. Because, in China, a lot of them are owned by government agencies.
Sure.
So you need to be able to, do a lot of the government networking. So it's a public-private partnership.
Yes.
So we would be able to, get the support, and not only the U.S. side, but also the China side. That's huge.
It is huge, and it really just lifts my spirits, because when I think about bringing the right influential leaders and innovation together to address social justice issues at scale, I mean, the impact that you've been able to have in terms of the environmental benefits of both the water treatment and now in the lighting space, even cleaning the air. Can you share a little bit about how you're using semiconductors and automation and data to make a safer environment for us all post-pandemic?
Right. Well, as I indicated, that technology is moving so fast. The world is getting more global and smaller because of technology. So, lighting was one of my main strengths, and I always use lighting to be an example of how much that, necessity can turn into, networking through technology. As I indicated that, lighting right now becomes semiconducting lighting, that, is amazing that we could be able to expand and scale it into energy efficiency, because, energy lighting, you can use it as you want. You don't want to be just like a parking lot, or a parking garage. The lights are on, 24 hours. You don't have to be.
Nobody's there.
If you add a sensor, if you add a control, you just tell the light when to turn on, when to turn off. So sunlight harvesting, when the sun is out there, you can harvest the light and store it into your lighting system. So, and Bluetooth mean that everybody has an iPhone.
Yes.
If you can read your lighting or data, everything through your Bluetooth technology. That's what we're very big on, is Bluetooth networking. So you wouldn't think that is important, but your daily life is lighting, is energy, is all this electricity you're using, and you can really put that in your ecosystem through the IoT.
So you're really thinking about that frictionless customer experience. How do I meet my goals of wanting to reduce my costs, but also be good to the planet, and be a responsible actor, but make it frictionless.
Yes, exactly.
It's something we're already interacting with.
Exactly. Give you an example, because of COVID, everybody is thinking of, all these viruses in the air.
Yes.
We treat water, I'm in the water treatment, but now I said, wow, we got to treat the air.
Yes.
When you go inside, a room or a meeting, how are you going to clean that air? So we come up with this idea of using lighting, the UVC LED lighting, to clean the upper air. And the UVC lighting can be dangerous if you don't want to handle it right. So we capture that into a circulation so that UVC doesn't get to your skin when you're meeting a room.
Okay.
But our system not only can clean it at the same time when you're having a meeting because it's enclosed, but we also tell you how much flow, how much air being cleaned, and how much that you could be able to monitor, the lighting side of it too. So we're very heavy in air treatment right now. And also lighting to mimic the sun to do organic farming. The indoor farming is also one of our, big tasks that we're working on, because, there's certain area that you couldn't grow something, especially in cold weather.
Of course.
So using the light to mimic the sun and using that to the smartness, the IoT, to monitor that's another, great achievement that we're working on. So
I never leave a conversation with you without thinking, how are you optimizing around innovation and environmentalism and diplomacy? And it always inspires me to think bigger and brighter. And so I'm so glad that we can share you with our audience. When you think about some of your successes, I'm sure that we could rattle off many, but I think we as humans learn most from our failures.
Mm-hmm.
What is one of the things that you've really taken as a lesson from lived experience that you think our audience
Well,
can
especially
benefit
as we
from?
talk about technology, which is ongoing, people's relationship is always in my heart. Oh, that's why I'm so involved with the community. And I always say, using food, food is always one of my biggest diplomacy, is using food and wine and
Well, I can say with 100% certainty that your restaurants are as authentic as possible, and the food is unbelievable. In fact, you've received some accolades. Do you mind telling us a little bit about some of your restaurants if people are looking for a more authentic cuisine experience?
Right. So we don't have very good Chinese food in here. So a lot of the tourists, they come here for a day and they go back to San Francisco because they were searching for their food. So that's one of my missions, is to be able to build an authentic, Chinese restaurant here so that, they can enjoy it as much as they can enjoy wine, and also for the American to enjoy the authentic Chinese food. So, welcome you all. Empress M is the restaurant that we have right in downtown Napa. We offer 4 major districts of China that's serving from Peking duck to dim sum all day, and with all this xiaolongbao, Shanghai food. So please come and enjoy it. This is again is a food diplomacy that we want to meet you. We want you to know more about the other part of the country.
That's one of the best gifts that I feel like I was given coming out of school working at a multinational company. It was the ability to really be immersed in other people's cultures. And one of the things that I just cherish to this day is the ability to have traveled internationally and to see how generous people are with their time.
Right.
And so I really appreciate you opening up your beautiful home to us.
Thank you.
And also your wisdom around how you've been able to theme through innovation and relationships to bring people together globally.
Right, absolutely. And I think that my whole life is building, I always say that I buy low, sell high. That's what I do, is buy low, sell high, but using technology, using ways and means to scale. But back to what you're saying is relationship, is understanding and respect. Food is definitely one of the area. Another new area that I see emerging is sports.
Okay.
Because you gotta talk to the next generation. It's not just, food. The next generation is the youth, is really striving for knowing sports.
Yes.
They love basketball, they love our NBA, they love all these baseball and all these things. So I'm looking towards to connecting the global youth. So this is why one of my companies is building up this platform of college esports. So we are connecting all the colleges in the United States as much as we can. We already mobilized over 1,000 colleges in the United States. Now we're scaling up with Hong Kong, with China, with Japan, with Mexico, with Canada. We also want to mobilize this college and create a platform for them to compete. And gaming is not just a game. Gaming can be technology. Gaming can be innovation. Gaming can be networking. Gaming can be, a curriculum that, education. So this is what we're trying to be able to create a platform and connecting you.
I do believe that you are well on your way to leaving the legacy that you have anticipated, which is, it's hard to hate when you up close.
Exactly.
It's much easier when you get to know somebody and see them as a whole person, to recognize that we're all in this together.
And if I have any advice for any people, is just study, do your due diligence of understanding who are your supplier, who are your buyers. They're different than us. So same when I told China and Hong Kong people the same way. I mean, just don't put yourself into somebody else's shoes. Always.
Empathy and really understanding someone else's journey is the key to success.
It's the key to success. If I know more you than you know me, I'm winning.
Thank you so much for your time today, Margaret.
Thank you so much. Thank you.